fucking yes, mate. 'Cause we stay all late, and I'm wide awake. I'm not coming home tonight. So the next time, when I'm borderline, I'll read you this note. I'm not coming home tonight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pass Interference Podcast. I am your host, as always, Max Whirling. How's everybody doing today? We have just had another crazy NFL Week 2 in the books, ready to go. Talk about it. Some wild games from this past weekend. But first, as always, the introductions for this week. To my imaginary right, and the one who's actually recording this because apparently Windows sucks dick, it is Johan Jonathan Neckards. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Windows can suck sometimes, but luckily I have this beautiful PC that you built me, and I'm glad to be back on the show. I missed last week, so good to be back.
Ooh, talking about sucker right there. Keep talking. And joining me to my imaginary left, as always, the hype master himself, Bronson Pompilio. How are you, sir?
I am good, man. It's been a good week and been busy over here getting ready to get married.
Yes, I know. We are officially, 9 days away?
Yeah.
9
8 and a half.
Yeah, something like that. It was funny too because I remember when you busted that, or when I got that itinerary, I was like, holy crap! Like, I think I got everything planned like straight to the detail. And Samantha was like, yeah, don't you remember our wedding? I go, oh shit, yeah, it was a long, like it was detailed out and super long. I forgot about that. It's like, damn, man, I want to get married. Like, I'm glad I found my soulmate because, man, fucking, I don't want to get married again. That shit takes forever and a half. So you enjoy your day, boo. You enjoy your day, boo.
Yeah, I'm just not going to get married. Screw y'all.
Just go to the courthouse, John. It's cheaper. It's easier. You can have the big party afterwards. Trust me.
Yeah, a lot of my friends are doing that, to be honest. But anyways.
All right. So we move on to the NFL that was week 2. We're going to try to zip through this because there were some good games out there. There were some games out there, and we'll talk about news as they come through for some teams. We start off first with the Thursday game. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off against the Carolina Panthers. We all took the Panthers, and oh boy, did they shit the bed. I mean, the Bucs defense, I tell you what, after having a not so good week 1, they had an okay week 1, but week 2, man, they lit up Carolina very well. I was very impressed. No, don't get me wrong, Carolina's offensive line hasn't impressed me a lot. There was a great statistic that somebody threw out there, and that was Cam Newton since 2013 has had a different left tackle every year since 2013. That to me is just absolutely insane. Like, you want to talk about consistency in the NFL, you want to talk about the best teams in the NFL. It's usually teams that have, that don't have a turnaround on those important positions, like, left tackle, and to have 7 in 7 years, that's a little scary. What did y'all think of the game in terms of everything that you witnessed?
I almost fell asleep thinking about it, man. It was just, Cam just doesn't look good. He
doesn't look healthy.
Yeah.
No, and he's lost.
I think it's him forcing his new throwing motion combined with him not being healthy. So I think you put the two together and it's just ugly.
There's that, and also I don't know, like, it was weird when I was watching, and maybe he doesn't have a new helmet. Maybe he's always had this helmet. But I swear to God, the helmet he was wearing, I was looking at it, looked like it was a size too big, and it looked like it was like it was like a bobblehead on top of his head. Like it just didn't look natural and comfortable on him. So I don't know if he switched helmets and we just don't know about it. If he's always had the helmet that big, but like it didn't look good. Like I don't know. I don't think Cam's healthy. John, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, excuse me. He's lost 8 straight starts, dating back to last season. But the Buccaneers shut down Christian McCaffrey, and because of that, he had to throw the ball 51 times, and usually that's recipe for disaster. And I mean, it just doesn't look good right now. I know he's been dealing with injuries, and then that whole you said left tackle position, correct? Right?
Yeah, left tackle.
Yeah. When you have a different left tackle every year, I mean that's pretty difficult. I mean, because once you get used to a guy, you start to trust him, and then you're able to, perform a lot better without having to worry about that side. And I'm sure that's had something to do with it too. And it looks like it's really getting to him, and it just doesn't look good.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, there was not too much to talk about this game. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Jameis, he looked great." Blah blah blah. I know a lot of Tampa fans, unfortunately, and they're like, "Yeah, Jameis looked great." Jameis did not look great. Jameis fucking barely survived this game. He was, 16 for 25, 208 yards and a touchdown. Yes, he didn't turn over the ball, but that doesn't mean he looked great. He was still late on throws. He still threw some balls in the dirt, and he still almost got picked off. Like, he did not look good. There was not, like, one moment where I was like, yeah, Jameis looks fantastic. Like, this is FSU Jameis. No, he's awful quarterback. Bucs fans need to realize this. He is an awful quarterback. Cut your losses after this season, because I swear to God, if you franchise tag him or you sign him to a long-term deal, you are going to be mediocre for the next however long you sign him till.
I agree.
Yeah. Not much else from this game. Shaq Barrett looked like a beast. I'm so happy for him that he's actually able to, he was hidden behind, last year he was hidden behind Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and couldn't really show what he could do. Now he comes over to Tampa and looks like a potential, pass rusher of the future for this Buccaneers defense, which I'm excited for. So, yeah, and that was about it. I hate Thursday night games. Thursday night games should go away. They're always full of just awful football, so I hate it. And we're not getting a good one this upcoming Thursday either. Ugh. So,
yuck.
Next game we have on the slate, San Francisco going into Cincinnati and absolutely putting the bricks to them. 41-17. I watched all the highlights last night, and I'm trying to remember all the stuff. Call it what you will. I think Kyle Shanahan, one of the best play callers in the NFL. He was so innovative with a lot of his stuff, and everything. I was very, very happy to see all the stuff he was able to pull out. Andy Dalton looked okay. He didn't look as good as his Week 1 performance, but he still was fine. But that defense in Cincinnati is just so awful. Yes, they got a couple sacks, or actually no, they got no sacks. They got sacks last week. They had no sacks this week. Even with who's their left tackle? Joe Staley going out for the second half. Still no sacks. And yeah, it's going to be a rough year. They're not going to be as bad as Miami, but that was we talked about Bronson beforehand. During the bachelor party, and I was convinced Cincinnati was a worse team than Miami, and then Miami made that trade, made these last couple trades, and Miami's god awful now. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati ends up with the second overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but I still think they're gonna win some games. They may not be pretty games, but I think they're going to win some games. I mean, they get to play Arizona, they could very easily win that. They have a shot against Buffalo. They have a shot against the Jags. They get to play Miami, so, right now they do look like in the top 5, but I definitely have Miami number 1.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So, John, any takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I want to go back to what you said about Kyle Shanahan, because I've also liked Kyle Shanahan. And I agree, he's one of the better play callers in the NFL. And he's definitely loving this right now, because as long as Jimmy Garoppolo can stay healthy, and that the longer he stays healthy, I feel like the better he'll be, and he'll be able to get in his groove. And that just opens up the playbook more for Kyle Shanahan, and he'll be able to get more creative. And if Jimmy G's able to be this guy, I mean, the 49ers, they're 2-0 now. I mean, who knows how good they're going to be? Only the time will tell. The Bengals, I mean, not really a whole lot to talk about. I mean, their rush game was mediocre at best that game. Andy Dalton still looks pretty good, but I just have the feeling that they're trying to move on from him, even though he's not playing bad, but I just have a feeling they're trying to move on from him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, we their offensive line is basically the most patchworked offensive line. They're still without AJ Green, which AJ Green's not gonna do anything. But yeah, they need a better offensive line. They need defense. I only say I hope that I know you don't hope that they get the second overall pick, John, but me personally, I think I hope they get the second overall pick from the standpoint of if they do and they don't want to move on from Dalton, if Dalton has a great year still, what you can do then is trade down with a quarterback needy team, pick up some picks, and kind of rebuild some players on your team. So
yeah, and that's the thing, because I mean, he's not playing terrible. I mean, if you move on from this guy, I feel like Dalton's still good enough that he could be that one of the top quarterback free agents if they do end up doing that, and I could see him moving on to a team and playing well. He plays up in Cincinnati, towards the middle and the end of the year. The weather gets pretty nasty up there, so he could play in really any condition, and he's played very well. I mean, they don't really step up in the playoffs, but that's just Cincinnati for you, and a lot of that's not on him. I mean, they've lost games in stupid ways in the past that were completely out of his hands. So
yeah, but either way, I mean, San Francisco looks good. They're 2-0 to start the year. It's going to be a dogfight in the NFC West, I'll tell you that much, man.
Definitely.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait. So, and yeah, Cincinnati's going to be a bottom dweller this year. Move on from that game to probably the biggest surprise of the week. Detroit, the Chargers versus the Lions. What the fuck happened to Los Angeles here, man?
They went on they went on the other side of the country. That's what.
I have no idea. It was weird to say. I mean, their offense looked good. Like, Austin Eckler looked good. Phillip Rivers had a pretty decent day, and it was all of a sudden they could not score. I don't know if their kicker missed any. Did their kicker miss anything?
Oh,
Yeah,
lots.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, two.
Yeah.
field
I
goals.
don't think it was his kicker. I think they had a fucking punter kicking field goals.
Yeah, it was a Ty Long.
Yeah, and that's why I hate when these teams try to combine these specialty positions. Like, oh yeah, we'll have the kick returner be the punt returner too. It's like, no, guys, some guys have a unique set of skills that are required for that unique thing. And kicking and punting does not correlate to the same fucking thing. So,
yeah, I thought we moved on from shit like that like 15 years ago, because you used to see that a lot.
yeah,
a while ago.
Yeah, and now it's just like they're trying to do it again because teams are trying to cheap out and be like, well, we just won't sign a kicker. We'll
We
just
can
have
get
the
one
punter.
more wide receiver on our roster if we do this or whatever.
Yeah, well, we can have one more special teamer on the team that can go and tackle somebody. But
Yeah, but we won't get another kicker on special teams.
yeah. So, other than that, I mean, it was a pretty ugly game. Otherwise,
I think I think LA just wants to move on from this, and you'll see it this coming week.
Yeah, and good to see, in a sense, Stafford lead his team back to a comeback. So I think Stafford's criminally underrated. I think a lot of people give Stafford shit, but I think he's criminally underrated. So
I agree.
So I really like Stafford. Bronson, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I always have said that Stafford's one of the most underrated quarterbacks and underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, fuck the Lions, though. So, I'm over it.
Yeah. All right. That was Bronson's. That was Bronson's NFC North love. Yeah, it wasn't. Like I said, there's not much to talk about the game. It was an ugly game. And somehow the Lions came out on top. So,
yeah, just tell Phillip Rivers next time don't pick on Darius Slay 20 fucking times and expect him not to pick one of the balls off.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, there's a reason why he's called Big Play Slay. So, yeah, we move on from that. Next game, again, another NFC North matchup. The Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay. Again, you want to talk about an ugly game. This was an ugly game, but even more so ugly for Kirk Cousins. I thought he made some okay throws, but I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened this game, man. It was bad. Stephon Diggs had a taunting penalty that was like, I was like, why are you taunting? Your team's down by a lot of points, so why are you doing it? And and yeah, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Like, it was a bad day for Mr. Cousins.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure Bronson has a lot to say, so I'll keep it brief. But yeah, I mean, Cousins struggles again. I mean, they have a good matchup this week, so if he's going to step up, I mean, this is the week to do it. And it's upsetting because Dalvin Cook, I mean, he played a damn good game. So that when you're running games like that, I'd expect them to at least step up a little. And the real question I have is, I mean, how good is Green Bay? I mean, their run game looked really good for a change, but I mean, Rodgers wasn't really anything spectacular that you'd normally see Rodgers in a game like this. So, I mean, I don't know what to think of Green Bay yet. I know a lot of people love to eat it up because it's Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Dalvin Cook is leading the NFL currently in rushing with 265 yards to start his season. So, Dalvin Cook is back, and that's a scary thing.
Oh, yeah.
Bronson?
Yeah, it just seems like the narrative's on the wall for Kirk. He does not play well against division opponents in our division. He plays like absolute garbage against the Bears. I mean, twice last season, I think he lost one to Green Bay. He may have even lost one to the Lions. But it's just so confusing, that team, and that interception he fucking threw in the back of the end zone. It's like
I did not understand that at all.
Yeah, and I think he broke Twitter afterwards too, because so many people were just so utterly confused. Like, did you think that you were going to get it out of bounds, or like what was going on there? Like, I don't even fucking know. I mean, Dalvin's playing well. The defense can only play so well when the quarterback's making mistakes like that, and 3 and outs, and
I mean, the defense didn't have a good start to the game. I mean, Green Bay started fast and furious, but
Right.
they adjusted and they did play great down the rest of the way. I mean, yeah, Aaron Jones had 116 yards, but I mean, you held Rodgers to under 250 yards passing, and really you got a lot. You want to keep a Green Bay offense that can explode for points. 221. If you can do that, you can easily win games. And instead, you have your quarterback go 14 for 32, so worse numbers than Cam Newton overall. Because we just talked about how bad Cam looked. I mean, Kirk Cousins 14 for 32 and 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, including one of them lost. I mean, that's not a good look for your quarterback.
No, not at all. And a guy making $84 million guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay's defense played well again. I'm really curious to see how well that lasts, because it's like, I always have like my things, like each team in our division is like allowed a certain thing or two, and Green Bay having a defense isn't one of those things. So like, I'm just curious to see if it lasts and how well it lasts, because I also, a lot of what I mean, you can't say the defense held Rodgers under 250. It was Matt LaFleur who held Rodgers under 250. So like, that's another thing I want to like keep my eye on is like, how much longer over the course of a season is Aaron Rodgers going to put up with and handle only doing 280 yard games? Like, is he going to be allowed to like rip the ball for 350 and 4 touchdowns? Like, are we ever going to see that Rodgers again?
Right.
So those are things I want to see, because Matt LaFleur has made it very clear he's going to run the fucking ball. The Vikings kind of look like what I'd expect after blowing out a team week 1, which they usually do, or at least they've done over the last 2 or 3 seasons. It's going to be curious to see how those next several weeks go for them, for both teams. That's what I want to see, because I'm watching that offense closely in Green Bay. And then I'm also watching that offense in Minnesota. But good job, Green Bay, to get that early 2-0 start.
Yeah, absolutely. So makes again the NFC North more competitive too. So we got 2 teams 1-1, 1 team 1-0-1, and a 2-0 team. So it's going to be a dogfight as well in the NFC North. So next game on the slate, we have the Indianapolis Colts going into Tennessee to face off against the Tennessee Titans. Again, not much to say about this game. I like the way that Brissett kept fighting back and keeping everything. What the fuck is up with Adam Vinatieri this year, man?
I mean, he's 47.
I know.
47.
I know.
I think his age is kicking in. This is it for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said something Monday. Right after the game. He said, what was it? He said, you'll be hearing from me tomorrow. And I never heard anything, so I wonder if they maybe he was like, F this, I'm done, and they talked him out of it, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the bigger story out of this game is like Adam Vinatieri they need to figure out their kicking issues. So I'm sure again, we've talked about with the Colts franchise, they're not going to kick Vinatieri off the team unless Vinatieri says, yeah, you need to kick me off the team. Like, they're that class of a franchise to where they're not going to just like release him in the middle of the year and just be like, you know what, fuck you, you're done. Like, they'll talk to him and be like, listen, what are you thinking? And if they're like, yeah, I gotta.
I mean, they did bring in kickers for tryouts.
And I get that. They have
and Cody Parkey was one of them. Like, what the fuck?
Well, and they have to do that because they have to make sure, because they don't know what he's thinking. I think
they have to be ready for anything.
They have to be ready for anything. So I think they've talked about it, and Vinatieri's like, all right, let me give me one more week to try to like resolve my issues. And if for some reason he's not there, then it's be like, man, I mean, you've had a great career. I mean, well, if we somehow make the playoffs and somehow get to the Super Bowl and win one, we'll still get you a ring. But we got to go in a different direction. So, and I think Vinatieri will retire, and it won't be like they release him and then he, hooks on with another team. I think he'll just retire. So, which that'll be interesting.
How is that gonna?
Go ahead.
How's that gonna? What's that gonna do to the franchise after what just happened with Andrew Luck? Like I know he's just a kicker, but it's Adam Vinatieri though, and like they just dealt with this a month ago with Andrew Luck.
Right,
and,
but this is a different thing though. This isn't your franchise quarterback. This is a kicker who's been in the league for 27 fucking years.
I guess as far as
23 years.
I don't know how big of a leader he is because he is a kicker, but I know sometimes as far as like a moral thing, like his character been there forever, like how big of a leader he is to the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how that might affect him too. I mean, after losing Andrew Luck, and then if he's that big of a leader, I don't know, just like some of the deeper shit,
No, I understand completely. So that's why I think it's they're gonna figure it out with him and go from there. So, here's a good question to ask y'all. He obviously we know Adam Vinatieri from his time with the Patriots, clutch kick with the Patriots. However, he's actually been an Indianapolis Colt for a longer time than he was with the Patriots. When he retires, does he retire as a Patriot or as a Colt?
I would say the Colts. I mean, the Patriots obviously, that first Super Bowl is, going to be special forever. But I think the Colts. He's been there longer, and I don't know.
First and second Super Bowl, man. The one against Carolina.
Yeah,
I don't think he retires either. Honestly,
I don't think he retires yet, but
no, I don't think. No, I'm saying I don't think he retires either.
Oh,
He just retires. I don't think he's going to be willing to pick a team, and he doesn't want to slight the other. So I think he just retires.
No, I think the NFL requires that they retire and pick a team because they had to do that because they did that with T.O. Because T.O. was like, I don't want to pick a team or whatever, and they're like, yeah, you have to pick a team. Like I think they physically have to pick. Like if they've had one career, like if they've split careers or whatever, they have to pick a team. Obviously,
yeah,
they
it's
go
not like
with
baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball, you can split it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, but I feel like there's players out there that have retired and like as a free agent and not as a player. Like if
if he were to get released or whatever, even still, they require because of their because when you go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they have all that stuff. They have they have his playing career and stuff like that, but they officially have you retire under a team. It's just how I believe everything works. 1 second. Do you have to retire under There we go. That's how I do my processes. I don't care. Like Rod Woodson. Who cares about Rod Woodson? Yeah, Rod Woodson was, I think for the Steelers or whatever, but I know he didn't retire as a Steeler, I believe, right? I don't know. It's all confusing. We'll figure it out when it happens, but I think he retires. I think he retires as a Patriot. I think that's where he's known for his most of the time. Yeah, he's been with the Colts for forever, but I think he retires as a Patriot. So that's just me. But other than that, really quick from this game, Titans need a quarterback. I'm sorry, the Mariota experiment's over. He's awful. He doesn't inspire anything for me as a quarterback. Even the stuff that he was supposed to be good at, where he's supposed to scramble and supposed to pick up yards and supposed to do this and that, I don't see it.
I wonder if his injuries had a lot to do with that. Because, early in his career, I mean, he was playing pretty damn good. And then after, the injuries he went through, it's like he just hasn't been the same, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. So, I just, like I said, I don't see it from him, and I think the Titans need a quarterback in the worst way possible. So they have the run game. They have a fantastic defense. I mean, their defense was lights out this week. But, yeah, I think they desperately need a new quarterback. So
I agree.
But, all right, moving on from that, we move on to we don't even want to talk about this game. New England, Miami. Miami's awful. New England's good. The end.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, I mean, there's no redeeming qualities on Miami. Let's move on. Um, Buffalo. Well, actually, we do have Miami news
No,
because
move on.
the Minka Fitzpatrick trade.
Move on.
Oh, come on. That's still big news.
It's fairly big news, but move on.
Okay, we'll talk about
got a lot
I'm
of
sure
shit.
he's happy to be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay. So Pittsburgh traded a first-round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick. We'll talk about it later. Buffalo, New York. Buffalo looked great in this game. I thought Josh Allen looked fantastic. A couple of his throws, even with his completions, seemed like they got away from him. But I'm really glad to see the development out of him. I think he's definitely looking like a good quarterback here. And obviously Eli Manning, he's toast. He did not look good.
They announced it earlier. They benched him.
For Daniel Jones. Then that was the news this week. So Eli Manning finishes as unless an injury happens, he finishes his career as a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, and a record of 116 and 116.
Oh wow!
And that sums up his career entirely. So,
I mean,
go ahead.
The interesting thing, the transition from quarterbacks in the New York market, and I saw some people talking about it. I mean, it's a New York sporting market, which is huge, obviously. And when Eli took over forever ago, he took over for Kurt Warner. I mean, those are big names right there. And I know Daniel Jones has some hype coming in, and he played very well in the preseason. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him coming in. I mean, he's a rookie. I hope they go easy on him, but it is New York. I think he'll do fine. He looked pretty damn good in preseason. I mean, so
we'll see how it works out. I mean, you heard me throughout the draft or whatever. Yeah. I shitted on that pick so hard.
Oh, I remember. I can hear it now.
Yeah.
I remember.
So, and a lot of people shitted on it. So now Daniel Jones has time to prove that we're all wrong and that he was actually the top quarterback to be selected in that draft. So, I just feel bad for Saquon because they've wasted 2 great years of Saquon for fucking Eli Manning and his awful quarterback play.
I mean, it was 1 in 3 games.
What was that?
Even. It was 1 year and 2 games.
Yeah. So, even still, 1 year and 2 games of wasted Saquon Barkley. So, like I said, Josh Allen looked good. The Buffalo team is surprisingly 2-0 to start the year. Just like we all predicted, baby. We all predicted Buffalo to go 2-0 to start the year. But yeah, I'll be interesting to see. And it's interesting. Here's the other parallel I will say about the Eli Manning thing is it's interesting because when he took over for Kurt Warner's big thing was that when he was the quarterback for the Giants the brief time, he was a turnover machine, kept on fumbling and throwing interceptions, and go figure, the guy he replaces is the way he goes out is being a fumbling and interception machine. So Eli Manning, Hall of Famer. I don't think he had a 116 record, but guy won 2 Super Bowls. And guess what? All that matters in the NFL is you win Super Bowls. So, and he's 2-time Super Bowl MVP. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Not like a first ballot. I think he's goes in 3rd or 4th time, but I think eventually he'll be a Hall of Famer.
I could see that. Yeah.
So, and I think he's number I just looked this up. I think he's number 6 all time in touchdown passes. I'm like, fuck, man. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ, that 2004 draft class was crazy. All right, next game, Seattle versus Pittsburgh. Dogfight of a game again. I mean, I thought I love DK Metcalf, man. DK Metcalf's going to be a fucking stud in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. I love him. I love him. I want him on my team. Tyler Lockett looked good. What the fuck happened with Chris Carson though, man? He was a rumbling and a fumbling and a stumbling, and he almost cost them this game this week. So I think yeah. Seattle needs, like, they're 2-0, but they're barely 2-0, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Ben got hurt pretty early in the game, and when Mason Rudolph took over, I think he played a pretty great game considering being thrown in there. Luckily, he was at home, so he had that going for him. It's going to be interesting with Roethlisberger, in my opinion. I know he went into the season saying that he wanted to stay, he felt a lot better, and then this happens, and a few seasons ago, back-to-back off seasons, he was flirting with retirement, and it's like, this injury, they were talking about if it doesn't heal correctly, then he might need Tommy John, and Max, you and I know, Tommy John on the throwing arm, that's not easy to come back from. I mean, he'll be out for at least a year if he's gonna have to get that. A lot of Steelers fans that I've seen, they believe in Rudolph, and I guess the Mika trade kind of confirms that. I mean, we'll only see. The only time will tell how that's going to work out. But it's interesting times in Pittsburgh, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and I've never been a big Mason Rudolph fan. Even coming out of college, I thought he was an accurate quarterback, but he's a statue of a quarterback, and also he's more Chad Pennington in a sense. And I think I texted you guys that, but yeah, they've gone all in for Mason Rudolph. They have to. It has to work out for them because they've traded a first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and if for some reason that first-round pick turns into a top 5, top 10 pick,
oh Jesus!
Oh, there's going to be some revolting in Pittsburgh. So if it's a mid-round pick, if he can lead them to an 8-8 record, if they can survive that, then the trade was worth it because Minkah Fitzpatrick is 22 years old, versatile defender, and I think he will. I think he's what the Steelers are looking for in that defense. Otherwise, yeah, this is the year for quarterbacks. There's like 5 of them that could go in the first round realistically, and you gave up your first round pick in the hope that this guy will be your guy. So.
Yeah, it's like when that happened, like instantly I'm thinking, yeah, this is a perfect opportunity. We're gonna just tank. Get one of these quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. Awesome. And then,
do you think...
It was like right away, they were like, we're going to get Minkah.
I mean, we've always heard all these reports about Big Ben coming out of there and how he kind of, runs the show and how the team, caters to him and his wants and needs. Mm-hmm. Do you think they traded away that first-round pick to make him feel better about his future?
There's a possibility of that. Because if you remember, and somebody brought this up, and I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. If you remember correctly,
he gets salty when they draft quarterbacks.
Yeah, and he got super salty when they drafted Mason Rudolph, and he's like, I don't understand why they would draft a quarterback when we need position players and blah blah blah. Right. Well, Ben, you can't play for fucking ever in the NFL. Like, you're not Tom Brady. Like, you're a good quarterback, or you're a great quarterback. You're a Hall of Fame quarterback, but you're not gonna play for fucking ever, Ben. Like, you have to eventually, especially when you talked retirement just a year or two ago. Like, sorry, bro, but fuck off. You're not that special.
They gotta look out for number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost wonder if they're like, all right, well, we're gonna put this skill position player in and try to make the defense as stacked as we possibly can, ride this season out. Get another skills position player, and then kind of ride it out for one last hurrah. And I almost wonder if Tomlin's like, fuck it, if I get fired after next year, then I'll get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, I don't know. And of course now they're out with, depending on what happens with Connor, I think he's week to week, right?
No, he's playing.
He's playing? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm not practicing this week, but I am definitely playing against the Niners.
We'll
Okay.
see how that works out. I mean,
Yeah.
they shut down Mixon and Bernard, so we'll see how that works out with Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, next game we got on the slate. It is the Dallas Cowboys facing off against the Washington Redskins, and where do I start with this game?
But you guys come out of the gate swinging and then just like fizzle out.
Well, this time, Dallas came out the gate swinging, and like it's nothing to do with our offense per se. I mean, our run game has been kind of abysmal.
You guys always start strong in this first half, and then you guys are just like coming out and like not doing anything.
Well, no, and the other issue that we're having this year is where I thought we would have a strength, which was our defense. Our defense is just not doing it, and
Your secondary.
Josh Norman is done. He's toast.
Garrett texted me. He's like, "Yeah, I think I'd want Jalen Ramsey." And like, that's literally Josh Norman 2.0, bro. Like, move on. Like, I'm sorry, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
When Norman was getting traded to you guys, that was the best corner in the NFL. Ergo, Jalen Ramsey.
Well, he didn't get traded. He got released.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that, and I think the difference is that Norman was, I think, 29, 28 when he signed with us. He's now 31, 32, I think. Let me see here, because he should be here. Let's see. Josh Norman is 31. So when we signed him when he was 28, 20. Jalen Ramsey, I think, is 24. So I think you still get more prime years out of Jalen Ramsey. However, I'm not trading a first-round pick. I'm not trading this year's first-round pick because potentially
they're asking for 2 2s now, or 2 1s for him.
Yeah, and potentially this year we're gonna have a top 10 pick, if not a top 5 pick, because it's just the law of averages. But
I still don't understand why you guys won't trade fucking Trent Williams and just take your goddamn pick and move on.
I don't know either. I don't get it. It's
you guys are such a stubborn organization.
And that leads all back to fucking Bruce Allen, and I hate his guts, and I wish he would just go fuck off and go fuck off. Just go fuck off. Go to Oakland. Let Mike Mayock go and fucking go back to the NFL Network, because even though I love Mike Mayock or whatever, I want him back on the NFL Network. Just have him go back to the NFL Network. Just hire Bruce Allen, get him the fuck away from my team. That's the best thing you can do for this franchise. Just get Bruce Allen the fuck away from my team.
I'm sure a lot of Redskins fans agree with you there too.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, Zeke did Zeke things. Dak did Dak things. Devin Smith, even though he was a Cowboy, I'm glad to see that he's healthy and he got his touchdown. He had some bad injuries when he was with the Jets, but I think he tore both ACLs and both knees. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy for him. So, and also Scary Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Love him to death, man. He is going to be a stud in this.
Yeah. No, I agree. He played very well. The run game wasn't very stellar at all for you guys, but I mean, the Cowboys are actually they're pretty decent against the run. So
yeah,
I would say that. The Dak price tag is going up. The longer he continues to play this well. I know they're just trying to be smart. I know Dak's not pushy, and he just wants to play ball. So that'll be interesting.
But Dak hasn't played a good defense this year. That's the difference. Dak has played the Giants, who have an awful defense, and the Redskins, who have a less than superb defense as well. So I'm waiting to see him go up against a Chicago Bears type defense, a Baltimore Ravens type defense, a fucking defense that will make him, sweat bullets, because he hasn't sweated bullets at all this year.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I do want to see that. That's always the ultimate one true test. He was very accurate in this game, though. So I know your guys' defense isn't very stellar at all, but I mean, at least he was pretty accurate. But that, like I said, I'll agree with you there. I mean, I want to see those types of matchups to see just how good he is and how good that this whole team overall is.
Yeah. And they're, and they're not having a, they're not facing a good defense this week. They're going up against the Dolphins. So the first defense that they have that is will give them fits this year is going to be the Saints at week 4, the Packers week 5.
But they're not going to get I don't think that game's going to be a contest. No Breeze, man.
I know, but I'm saying defense-wise, like in terms of pressure and everything like that, I think the Saints defense will bring pressure. I think week 5 against the Packers, potentially week 6 against the Jets, and then we scroll all the way down to week 17, week 16, week 15, like week 14 or 13 or wherever the fuck this is against the Bears. December 5th against the Bears. I mean, they're not facing prime competition. Oh, they play the Patriots this year too. Cool. I can't wait for Dak to get his ass kicked during that game. So, but, I mean, not much else to talk about this game. It's just, move on. So, a game I'm sure John is super hyped and excited to talk about this week is the Cardinals versus the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore comes away with the victory 23-17. Lamar Jackson, another stellar game, even though it was a terrible defense. Good game, though. I'll lead it off with you, John.
So this game was pretty fun to watch. I was at work, but lucky enough we were dead, so I got to watch on my phone. Could put it on the TV because the NFL TV rules suck. But anyways, this game showed a lot of different stages for Lamar Jackson. He started off very strong, like they did last week. Marched right down the field. He had a nice little play where they faked the bubble screen over to Hollywood, and then Mark Andrews was just wide open, and he just delivered it right to the house. In the middle of the game, they started to get into Lamar a little, and he started to get pretty frustrated. I mean, there were some drives where he would pick up a couple first downs, and then they'd stop him, and then he would get pissed. He'd get pissed. He would, stomp, the ground. You could see what he was yelling. And then towards the end, last year, this would have been a completely different outcome because, I mean, last year on 3rd and 11, this would have easily just been a run. Let's just kill the clock and punt the ball. F it. And this time, he dropped back and then he saw the matchup with Hollywood and he loved it and he just went right with it and just launched it. It was a perfectly thrown ball. Hollywood had the perfect light hands, so that way the defender couldn't get his hands up. And it was just, it's exciting. I know it's the Cardinals. I know they whooped the Dolphins last week. This week will be an awesome test. They are leading the league right now with yards per game on the ground. And Kansas City so far has been pretty good against the run. So that'll be interesting to see. But, a lot of people are talking about Lamar Jackson. I know the hype is there. This is, his game. He says that he hates losing games. He talks about games in high school that he's lost that still eat him up. And this is the one regular season game that he lost last year that he almost won in overtime. And I think they have a really legitimate shot if he can play exactly the way he's been playing and just smart football. And it's going to be a show. Lamar Jackson versus Pat Mahomes. I hope Lamar can keep it up, and I hope this is going to be the battle in the AFC. And I mean, I know there's other teams too, obviously, but I think Mahomes versus Jackson is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think somebody said, I think it was Matt Miller on Twitter said, can we please flex Baltimore and KC instead of having Rams-Browns on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it also showed the one thing I did like, and I'll keep it short. I won't take up too much time, but I mean, the one cool thing was that, I mean, they started, they were like, oh shit, well, he just threw 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins last week, so he can throw, and they did that. And he was like, okay, well, if you're not going to, sack the box this play, I'm just going to easily run outside and pick up 20 yards like it's nothing. And he got out of bounds. He took one little tackle, but he was smart with that. And it just looks effortless when he does it. I mean, he just rolls out and he just picks up 20 yards like it's nothing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Cardinals. In the meantime, I mean, Kyler Murray had a solid game. Their run game is just not picking up. I know David Johnson got a touchdown, but that's my worry with Cliff Kingsbury offense is you can always tell when he's running his offense that they're not running the offense the way they should in a sense because there's no run game. It's all passing, and then eventually that's going to come to bite you in the ass. But I thought Kyler Murray made some great throws, looked good, and yeah, it was a good game overall. So, Bronson, any thoughts?
I was impressed with the Cardinals quite a bit. I definitely thought it was just going to be another blowout, and I tuned in, check out what was going on, and then all of a sudden I saw Kyler drive down the field and score that touchdown to bring him up to 17 points.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, and I was like, if they fucking pull this off, I'm gonna be very vocal on this podcast.
I knew it. That's why towards the end of the game I was like, no. Can't listen to Bronson.
And I did see Lamar throwing his temper tantrums. Shouldn't really say temper tantrums, but you could definitely tell that game was getting to him. And so I'm curious to see if other teams watch to see what they were doing on defense to see if they can try those things out against Lamar in the future.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in Kansas City's defense. Yeah, they're good against the run. I'm doing air quotes, but they went up against Oakland and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not too many strong run games.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. But I just think this game is going to be stupid high scoring. We're probably talking mid 30s each. And anything less than that's a boring game, if you ask me.
For these two offenses, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see I want this to be this year's Rams Chiefs game.
Yeah.
That's my expectations going into it. I'm not going to say 50 points for each team, but I want to see something similar. I just want it. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yep. And by the way, just looking at the stats as well, number 3 in the league for receiving is Hollywood Brown at 233.
I mean, he got all his fucking yards in one game. Move on. Jesus.
Do you know who number 1 is in the NFL right now?
Oh, I forgot. I just saw it.
Without looking it up?
I'm thinking. I'm not looking it up. I got Patrick Mahomes' face on my. It's got to be Sammy, right?
Nope, he's number 2.
Damn. Is it Denard Robinson?
Nope, it's not Denard Robinson either.
I have no idea.
OBJ.
What's that? Nope,
it OBJ?
OBJ is number 4.
Ah, yeah, that's right. He was up there.
Number 1 is John Ross.
Oh, yeah. God damn it, I forgot he was up there.
That's how you know the list is whack.
Just as we all predicted, John Ross getting number 1 in reception.
Well, of course, no AJ Green. I mean, it's good to see him actually doing something, though, at least. I'll say that.
And it's a contract year, baby. It's the perfect time to do it.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. So
give him what he wants.
Next game we got, it was a boring game in Houston. I don't know, man. Houston's got to get their shit together. But it was the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. Really, both teams need to get their shit together. But it was a boring game. I mean,
so boring. The reason why Houston won is because they got the 2-point conversion failure. So
yeah, I know, and that's that. Why would you go for 2? I get being aggressive, but you've been getting your ass kicked all game, and you
a lot
just
of teams have been doing that already.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, Vic tried doing it to the Bears like a dick.
I know. I was like, oh, this asshole. He did it instantly too.
So, yeah, like I said, Gardner Minshew. I mean, again, he had another solid game. I'm happy for him. He was their running attack essentially as well as their passing attack. So, other than that though, I mean, yeah, it was. I don't know, man. Houston's got to figure this shit out if they want to take control of the AFC South. So, And of course, Jalen Ramsey is now pissed over in Jacksonville. So we'll see if anything happens. I think he plays tomorrow. I don't think anything happens until maybe a trade deadline, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So, Kansas City, Oakland. Kansas City dominated Oakland this entire game. Pat Mahomes does Pat Mahomes stuff. I mean, obviously he's top 5 quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the league.
He's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
he's little goat right now. He's goat in waiting.
yeah. Low goat, I love it. There was one play I saw. The Chiefs got an interception, and they called the referees called offensive pass interference, and it was like, nah, he got picked hard. Like the Ryan Grant got picked hard, and they called him for offensive pass interference, and I'm like, ha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I saw
the
that
offensive
too.
the pass interference calls is just going to be a shit show the rest of the season.
Oh my
They
god!
begin
Especially
worse
since
and
you can
worse.
fucking challenge them. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
since you can challenge them. I think referees are just calling them like all the time now, only for the simple fact just to prove a point of like
Go ahead and challenge that shit.
yeah, go ahead challenge it. Go ahead challenge it. So that way you can waste our time and the NFL and everybody's time and your timeouts or whatever, and it's fucking awful, man. Fucking
Yeah.
hate. So
Civil War.
but yeah, Pat Mahomes does Pat Mahomes stuff. So move on from that game. Here you go, Bronson. Your spotlight. Chicago, Denver. Hell of a game. Probably the best game of the week.
Yeah, so everyone in Chicago bitched about how bad the offense was and how we didn't run the fucking ball. So what did Matt Nagy say? Well, Danny Trevathan told me it's really hard to play in Denver. There's not a lot of altitude up there, or the altitude up there is it's pretty rough. So, and I don't know what was the fucking stat at the end of the day? The fucking Broncos are like undefeated the first 3 weeks, or like I think they're like 22-2 or something since 1994. Some stupid stat in weeks 1 through 3. The Broncos have never started 0-2 since 1999. Like, that's ridiculous, and that just shows you how hard it is to play in Denver in September. Like, it's so fucking hard. It's literally the biggest game advantage for any home stadium to ever have. It's not fair. But Matt Nagy was like, I'm going to try my best to draw out drives, make drives long, so this defense does not get exhausted. We achieved that probably for the first 2.5 quarters. Then the game. I mean, the fatigue set in because it's unavoidable. There was no passing whatsoever. It's like the Bears were like, we're not going to throw the fucking ball at all. Mitch had 100. I think he had 120 yards. I mean, I think he's the first quarterback. I think there's only been 4 quarterbacks since, I forget however many years, to ever win a game with that few passing yards and attempts or whatever it was. And Mitch has done that twice in his career. Once yesterday, or once on Sunday, and then once against the Baltimore Ravens. Go figure. When Jordan Howard ran the fucking ball 45 times. But anyway, I was just very impressed with David Montgomery. I was very impressed with the defense. I was very impressed that we were able to survive Vic Fangio. He definitely knew how to take advantage of Mitch Trubisky. He knew how to scare him. He knew to throw stunts at him, confuse him, show him things that he's never seen before. That was like pissing me off. And it feels so fucking good to get this game behind me because it's been stressing me out so much. I mean, I was talking about this game before the first game was even fucking over. And I'm just very happy for Chicago to get this win. We now have our fucking kicker who was named the NFC Special Team Player of the Week. He's such a charismatic dude. He's so likable. We need more Hispanics in the NFL, so it's good to like give him an outlet. His story is phenomenal. Check it out. I mean, his parents are Cuban immigrants and played for the Gators. He had the balls to wear number 15. He begged for that number, wore it well. I mean, it's probably one of the most famous fucking college football numbers in the entire sport because of Tim Tebow. So I'm happy for the kid, dude. He's got cojones, and he is De Niro Pinheiro, and I love it. And I'm just very happy. I lost my shit. I think when that kick went through, because I was watching it on Sunday Ticket because the game wasn't here on television.
Mhm.
Thank you, Michelle, for letting me use that. But like the alerts to the game were going off on my phone before I was seeing them live. So
Oh,
literally when the field goal was like about to happen, like I was like, throw my fucking phone. Like I threw it across the living room. So I luckily didn't I saw the news. The last thing I saw on my phone before I threw it away was when Buster fucking went off sides to give the Broncos the opportunity to re-kick the extra point instead of going for 2, which I was very happy with. I was like, all right, fine, fucking kick the extra point. I don't give a fuck that he missed it. Like I was just trying to like get that out of my head. Like I'm like all I was thinking about is if we fucking lose because of an offsides fucking call and a missed extra point, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. And then they kick the extra point, we tie the game, and then the entire time when we got the ball back, all I was thinking about was one thing. I was like, Mitch, you've done absolutely nothing this game. Nagy has not allowed you to throw the fucking ball at all this game. Please take a moment, get your zen on, and channel whatever the fuck you channeled into that arm against Philly in the playoffs, because it was literally the same situation. I think in Philly, there was 29 seconds left on the clock. In Denver, there was 31 seconds on the clock. What the fuck does he do? He goes to his number one guy, Allen Robinson, who was so fucking smart, man. He was so fucking smart. Allen Robinson caught the ball. He was wide open. He had no one around him. What does he do? He runs sideways and dives headfirst at Chris Harris's legs. Yep. Which then forces Chris Harris to put his hands on him, and then right as he hit the ground, he called the timeout at 1 second. It was one of the one of the best heads up plays I think I've ever witnessed as a fan of the game, and it was just surreal to see that that's literally how it was going down. It was crazy. And Pinheiro, he's preaching his Jesus. I mean, it was hard not to believe in Jesus after that, man.
But I'll say this: what would the call have been, or what would they had done if they were to say the clock struck 0? I mean, you can't challenge that, right?
You can't challenge it, no.
Yeah, so they could have fucked you. Here's what would have happened, though.
Here's what would have happened, though. The NFL would have reviewed it, which they have already done with the outcome of the Bears game, and the NFL would have been in deep, deep shit because they would have been wrong. So thank God the refs went about it the way they went about it, because they went about it the right way. I don't care what Denver says. I don't want to hear about the bogus roughing the passer calls, because guess what? We had 2 more than you guys, Denver. We had 2 more than you, and both of our fucking roughing the passer calls called on us led to 6 points for you. And if you don't get those, you don't even have a chance to tie the fucking game. So you're just arguing tomato type situations, because it happened to us, it happened to you. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah, just move on.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh well, the clock hit 0. How do you get a second back? Look at the fucking tape, bro.
Yeah.
There's literally footage of Mitch timeout, and then there's a the fucking clock hits 1 with his hand in a T formation. Allen Robinson is on the fucking ground doing it. Matt Nagy's doing it. The whole fucking staff was doing fucking timeout. So like
Well, Chicago was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so like just shut up, Denver fans. And I even reached out to Jazz and I was like, yo, like, not gonna lie, the roughing the passer stuff, bogus, but it was guilty on you and it was guilty on us. It led the points for you, it led the points for us. But at the end of the day, I was like, you whooped my ass in fantasy, but my team wins. Like that's like I don't think I would have like woken up the next day if Jazz had beaten me in fantasy and the Denver Broncos beat my Bears.
Yeah.
Bronson would have been like, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Bronson wouldn't have done this podcast. He probably would have just been like, you know what, fuck it. Like, there's no point in football anymore. So, the Bears, they have to get their offense sorted out. I don't know what's going on in Chicago there, but they need to get their offense sorted out.
Dude, we start slow every year, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Mitch Trubisky's not the quarterback. He's not the quarterback. He looks like shit. He's not going through his progressions." Yes, he isn't going through his progressions. He gets a little worked up. Last week, there was no reason to hate on Mitch Trubisky. Matt Nagy just literally didn't give him a chance to do anything because all that running for the receivers, they literally used everyone in the run game. Everyone was on run game. And like the times that Mitch did drop back to throw the ball, the pass protection was so shitty because all they were like drilled into the ground was like run block, run block, run block. So it was a run game. And this is exactly what happens last year. We had 2 like mediocre games to start the season. And then guess what? Mitch Trubisky threw for 550 plus yards and 6 touchdowns and had a rushing touchdown the following week in week 3 in Tampa. Who do we play week 3 this year? Your shit skins, man. And I'm going to be there front row in the end zone to watch it, baby.
Well, it's gonna be an interesting one then. So, and I'll be watching at work, unfortunately. So I tried. Well, I tried to make it happen.
Favor. I'm gonna make this clear real quick. Watch the end zones because literally Garrett and I are row 2 of the end zones.
Yeah.
And find my ass on television.
Yeah, I will try to.
You're gonna be geeking if you guys
we don't
get
have.
touched on your
So
section.
we don't have. Yeah, we don't have ESPN at work, so I have to watch it from my phone. But I will be watching. So I'll be looking for your gorgeous, sexy.
Okay. Because Pixar didn't happen, you know.
Exactly. I'll be looking for your sexy ass. I'll be screenshotting if I see it.
I'm just saying, like, it'd be funny. Like, I didn't go to that game. There was no pics. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's see here. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what comes of from this game.
I mean, that was probably the most exciting finish of the week, that game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
Easily,
I said, this is probably I would say this is probably the best game of the week. I mean, yeah.
I was going crazy.
You can make an argument for Atlanta, Philadelphia, but fuck those teams. Fuck both of them. They're both garbage teams. So, next game, the Saints versus the Rams. Rams win, but it's due to the fact that
ahead.
Drew Brees is donezo for at least 6 weeks. He's got a jammed thumb. He had surgery on there, right?
Surgery, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've done that, and it's just come out too on Twitter that the Saints are gonna roll with both Teddy Bridgewater. It's Teddy time, and also Taysom time. Taysom Hill is also gonna get some snaps.
Dude, I'm excited for the both of them because I think this is the Saints' like low-key way of like gauging how good Teddy Bridgewater can be in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a good opportunity to be like, hey, like, do we pay him for the future? You know?
Yeah. I think it's a smart thing for them to do, only for the simple fact of like it sucks because you don't want to see Drew Brees go down, but it's also a good way to evaluate not only Teddy Bridgewater but also see what you got out of Taysom Hill. You know, can Taysom Hill take that next step to being a legit quarterback, even though he's 27 years old. A lot of people forget about that. He is 27, 28 years old, but he doesn't have that much mileage on him. He's only been in the league for 3 years. That's because of, I think it was at BYU, right?
Yeah, something weird, random.
Yeah. So,
but I'm excited to see. I mean, they play some good games. They play some good teams during that stretch.
Yeah.
Very happy that the Bears game are inside of that 6 weeks. It's pretty crazy, and we're coming off our bye too, right before that game. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for all the footage of Bridgewater and Taysom to get put out there, so my Bears can like game plan accordingly.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm excited for Teddy Bridgewater. I think he had something in Minnesota, and unfortunately, he just had that injury, and so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Other than that, I mean, the Rams played an okay game. I mean, there's nothing special. I mean, once you lost Drew Brees, I feel like the whole team was just deflated after that. But the one thing I will say about this game was, man, Cooper fucking Kupp is back with a fucking vengeance. Holy shit! Did you see his long catch that he had?
Yeah, his angry run.
Oh
yeah.
my god, dude!
Yeah, he said sit down.
Yeah, oh my god, I love Cooper Kupp, man, and that's honestly Jared Goff's security blanket, and he needs to be healthy for Jared Goff to be successful, because that's legit. Yes, he has Robert Woods, yes, he has Brandon Cooks, but those are basically his Tyreek Hill and his Sammy Watkins, and in order for Jared Goff, to succeed, he needs his Travis Kelce, aka his Cooper Kupp, his security blanket. So, and we're seeing it this year because he's lighting people up. So, next game is the Sunday night game. It was the Atlanta Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, you could say it was arguably a great game, but I mean, Matt Ryan looked like shit. Carson Wentz had to go out with an injury and looked kind of like garbage doo-doo. He did have a great play, Carson Wentz did, where he literally was about to go down on his knees and made some type of completion. So I think it was Alshon, right?
No, I think it was Ertz. Dude, you got to realize every starting receiver in Philly is hurt now and out.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar is the number one. They were all out very early. I mean, hell, Carson Wentz was almost out. Very concerned to see that team moving forward because, Carson's health is always an issue. But yeah, it was either Goddard or Ertz that caught that pass.
I'm trying to go back.
The touchdown pass or
no, the one where Wentz was about to get sacked and he was about to fall down and he threw the ball and the wide receiver caught it. I don't know who it was.
Oh, okay.
It could have been Aguilar, but honestly, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, any other takeaways from this game?
I mean, outside of Philly's health moving forward, I mean, that's the concern because if they lose Wentz this year, I mean, they're done.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep games going if they don't have a fucking receiver around anyone. And I have yet to see anything out of Miles Sanders or that run game that's been impressive.
Yeah.
Which then I think also stems from their offensive line. So, like, a lot of concern there in Philly, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They don't look like the division favorites anymore, like we thought they could be.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of concern in Atlanta too. Like Atlanta might let themselves into winning the NFC South, not because of skill, but because of everybody, the Buccaneers.
Everyone else,
yeah, being mediocre. So, also Julio Jones, best fucking wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, that boy's so quick. Like, even though he's been in the league for 8 years, that boy's still quick. I love that man. I love Julio Jones. So,
Monday nighter.
All right, next
Odell.
game. Yeah, Cleveland, New York Jets. I don't know why they had. I know why they had this game, but like,
I mean, if you said at the end of last year and you saw that game, you're like, oh fuck, that's a good Monday night game.
yeah. And then week one happened, and we're like, okay, it's still redeeming because it's still like, oh, the Browns should have taken because the Browns would have taken Darnold, maybe they wouldn't have.
Right.
Nobody knew exactly the whole situation with that, and then all of a sudden it was like, well,
Darnold has mono.
Darnold has mono from Demaryius Thomas.
Oh.
That was my favorite thing. And then so they had Trevor Siemian or whatever the fuck his name. Yeah, whatever. Come in there, and he looked like shit. And then he goes out with a fucking ankle injury, and he's done for the season. So now the Jets are down to their third string quarterback, Luke Falk. Just like we all predicted they would. I mean, it's bad times in the Jets, and I thought the Jets might have made a playoff push this year, but with no Darnold, they're C.J. Mosley still kind of hurt. Jamal Adams apparently not happy in New York as well. All that happened. I mean,
They benched him, didn't they?
They benched him, and they came up with some excuse for why they benched him. But
yeah, like he made a gut move and broke his play or something like that. Yeah, I think he came out and said that. Yeah, that he thought he saw something and he jumped it and he was completely wrong. And he says that's why he got benched.
Yeah. So
yeah, dude, Adam Gase is such a hard ass. He's such a hard ass.
That was such a bad hiring for the Jets. I don't get it, man. You
should have gotten McCarthy.
Oh my God, McCarthy at least would have stabilized that team or whatever. I feel like he would have done a better job stabilizing that team. Gase is just, I don't know, dude.
He's a cokehead, dude. He's literally a cokehead.
Yeah,
have you seen his eyes?
He's a crazy cokehead. I mean, and his staff in Miami were getting busted for coke.
Yeah,
like he's a narcissistic cokehead.
Yeah,
crazy person. Like
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't know why he's still in the league. I think it's weird. I think it's just weird. I think it was a bad.
And wherever he goes as a head coach, he somehow ends up being the GM too.
Yeah.
Like that was the deal he signed on for in Miami, and then he goes to the Jets, and then they're suddenly firing their fucking GM. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't get it at all, dude. I honestly don't get it. It's the dumbest thing. Jets are going to Jets, I guess. So, Myles Garrett, I told y'all at the beginning of the Week 1 podcast, this man's going to go for 18, 20 sacks this year. He is lighting people fucking up, man. I am so – oh, my God, I love Myles Garrett so much, man. That man is vicious. And I know –
man.
I know. And I know he hurt Trevor Siemian, and it happened that, it sucked or whatever, but –
It was kind of a freak accident. I mean, it was just one of those. I mean, it was a terrible looking one, but I wouldn't pin that one on Myles Garrett.
No, but yeah, I love the way that man plays, and dude, he's gonna get paid. I mean, he you talk about pass rushers getting paid, he gonna get paid by somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, the one thing that kind of stood out for me is I know it seems like the Browns are taking a little while to get going. I mean, Odell had a huge game, but he always does on Monday night, as we all know. Baker was still missing some pretty wide open throws. He wasn't as accurate that night, but I think he might just be one of those guys that just takes a while to get going. And I mean, he didn't participate in any preseason games, I think, if I remember correctly. So
no, he did.
He did? Was it one game or
no?
I'm thinking of someone else. Then yeah.
Well, you're thinking of Trubisky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might still take him a little while to get going. I mean, because normally he's always making these throws. He's always accurate. I mean, we'll see.
Well, and a lot of these things too is like the way the teams operate. Some teams don't like to come out of the fucking gates swinging.
Yeah.
Teams don't want to expose their playbook right out the bat. Yeah. Like so, and that's like that's one thing. Like you got a lot of good teams over the course of an entire season. You open up that playbook, week 1, week 2. You start scoring all these fucking points. It's like you're kind of exposing everything right now.
Yeah.
And then you got to keep the longevity of it. But I do know Freddie Kitchens' play calling was kind of like suspect. He was like I mean, they ran the ball on like 3rd and fucking. Or they like threw on 3rd and 10, or I forget what it was, but it was like a matter of they went for it on 4th down. They threw on 3rd and like ran on 4th down. It was like some bizarre thing that they shouldn't have done. I forgot what it was, but his play calling was like a little shoddy. So that's something to keep an eye on is like handling the pressures of being the coach while also calling the
Yeah.
plays.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, I know the game didn't really call for it. Baker didn't have to go out there and ball out. I mean, the Jets were dealing with so many injuries, so it's not like he
Yeah.
had to go out there and be phenomenal. He had a real solid game. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him.
Yeah.
And like I said, he didn't have to go out there and completely ball out. So
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Well, it's time for prediction hour. All right. Two things. Let's make this fast. And secondly, I don't know what you guys think about this, but like, never mind. I'm not gonna suggest it because you butt faces are just gonna disagree with me.
What? No, say it.
I think the person that's in first place in picks should always pick first.
Mm,
I mean, I'm down for whatever. I don't care. I mean,
Because
I don't care.
I think it should be that way because it gives it
The
it puts
advantage
it to the people in second and third place.
The way I did it this week was I did the picks
Well, I
by.
know how we did it. I was there.
Well, no, but what I'm saying for this week, like how I'm trying to do it this way is basically we pick in a line to where each of us gets to pick our our favorite teams like
Oh,
game.
it's fine. I mean, you can
Last.
always. Okay, well then we can just have the person go first. That's in first place every time, and then when it's their team, they pick last.
Okay.
Yeah, it has. You have to give some sort of advantage to the people in second and third because a
By
lot
the way,
of the
Bronson's just saying this because he is in like third place by like a mile right now.
it's like 4 games.
You're 3 games back.
Okay, 3 games, even better. I'm just saying.
he's
this is the
saying,
way-
why do you make
this-
all the rules?
This is the way we do it. This is how we're gonna do it because I have a methodology to my madness. Now,
Yeah, you
let's-
have a
let's move
methodology
on.
because you're in last place right now.
Okay, well then watch me win. And then-
Don't feed the beast, damn it! God.
All right, let's do this.
All right, as quick as possible. Okay, Thursday night game, and really quick to the season 2 gift card. Yes, Bronson's at 18, 13, and 1. John's 20, 11, and 1, and I am 21, 10, and 1. So
I'm 2 games back.
It's tight race.
3. No, you're 3 because I'm 21.
Oh, you're in first. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in
Gotcha,
first.
gotcha.
So, all right. Tennessee versus Jacksonville. I guess since I'm in first place, I'll go first. It's an awful game. I really don't care about this game, but I'm going to go Tennessee because Tennessee's defense is good. John.
It's a Thursday night game. I'm gonna go Titans.
Who's home?
Jacksonville.
Gotcha.
Bronson.
All right, from a strategic standpoint, and it's the first game, and it's Thursday night, and who the fuck ever knows what the fuck's ever gonna fucking happen. But I really could see the Jags winning this game, but I'm gonna have to take Tennessee.
I could too. I mean, it's a toss-up between 2 shit teams.
I really like Gardner Minshew. I don't know why. I think it's his like swag too.
Mhm.
Like he's a cool dude. I like to
Yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah. I like the way he twirls his hair. All right, Cincinnati, Buffalo. I'm gonna go Buffalo. Go Buffalo. Bronson.
Buffalo.
John.
Yeah, same. I really like Buffalo at home.
Yeah. Miami versus Dallas. We all take Dallas. That's a given.
No, I want to pick Miami.
That's easily a lock. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, that might be. Don't forget, next week is our Ghost Pepper pick week. So
We're fucked if that.
Oh, we
if
got
they're
to do that at the
forced.
wedding
my-
now.
If
Ooh.
like Miami's on a bye during one of those weeks, we're fucked.
Why couldn't it be this week? And then we could have done it like after the wedding or something,
Nah, not that bad. Miami
or
Dolphins.
before. I don't know. I'm just being stupid.
Hold on, when is their bye week this week? Miami Dolphins have a bye week. Week 5. So we're good. We're Gucci. We're Gucci as fuck. All right. Denver, Green Bay. Green Bay's at home. I'm gonna go Green Bay. John.
Man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Green Bay too. I think they get this one at home.
Bronson.
Yeah, Green Bay. And just so we're clear, the order is first, second, third place. All right, now continue.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. No, now you're
No, you're good. We're good. Just keep that forward. Just keep that going forward.
Cocksucker. Atlanta versus Indianapolis. I got Indianapolis at home. John.
I want to go against you, but I like Indy.
Bronson.
Yeah, this is the kind of game Atlanta wins. I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right. Here we go. Big one. This is Baltimore versus Kansas City. I got Kansas City. Bronson.
Oh, man. Yeah, I have to take Kansas City.
And John.
Yeah, I'm so glad to go against the grain here. I mean, I have to pick the Ravens. It's going to be a great game, but I think Lamar keeps it going.
Absolutely. Oakland versus Minnesota. I'm going to go Oakland. Why not? I know they had a bad game against Kansas City, but Minnesota, I hope Cleveland Farrell goes in there and just wrecks shit against Minnesota. So I'm going to go Oakland. John?
I'm going to go Minnesota. I think Cousins finally gets his head out of his ass in this one.
Bronson?
You said John with such sass there. But this is a 1:00 game, yeah?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I'm going to take the Vikings here.
All right. New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. I got New England, especially with Luke Falk.
To the next game. Just go to the next game.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's going to pick the Jets?
No.
John will.
Unless you're borrowing Adam Gase's cocaine. I mean, there's no logical reason as to why anyone
I
would pick the
freaking
Jets.
wish.
Man, maybe I got the Sports Almanac 2020 edition, man. Like, I was Back to the Future this shit, dog. I know all the results. No, I'm joking. Detroit versus Philadelphia.
See, this is a low-key, sneaky good game.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I'm going to go...
No Sean, no Alshon.
I'm going to go Detroit.
God damn it.
John.
I was going to pick Detroit, but yeah, I'm still picking Detroit because I like them in this game. Baby.
Bronson.
Who's home?
Philadelphia.
Oof. I'm going to take... Oof. Because I got to make ground. I can't... All right, I'm taking Philly. I'm taking Philly.
I figured that. All right, Carolina versus Arizona. I'm going to go Arizona. At home.
Oh, my God. What? Jesus
John.
Christ. The games.
Yeah, I know. These games are
Why
pretty
are you
interesting.
doing this to me?
Yeah. I don't know. Arizona is playing great
Well,
football
guys,
right
as
now.
of right now, Cam Newton's in a walking boot.
He's in the walking boot?
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah,
may not
but-
even play.
But
I-
Will Greer could start. Will Greer. I love Will Greer.
And
Right.
I have a
Yeah.
man crush on Will Greer.
I just... Cardinals are going to play a great game, but I feel like the Panthers sneak this one out.
And Bronson.
Kyler gets his first win.
I know that hurts to say. I know that hurts your soul. Giants versus Bucks.
Panthers are going to bite me in the ass, man.
Probably. Panthers versus Bucks. Daniel Jones's first start.
Giants versus Bucks.
Giants Bucks. The matchup we've all been looking for. No, you know what? I've been talking so much shit about Jameis, but I think with how bad New York's defense is and how it's going to be Daniel Jones's first start, I'm going to go Tampa Bay. John?
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones does have a very solid first start, but he doesn't come away with a win just yet.
Bronson.
All right, so I went all in on that Philly pick. So like I gotta kind of like reel it in a little bit because I had two ballsy ones. I took Philly and who was the other one I took against you guys? Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta stick to the grain here, but like guys, if there was a team to go up against and have a coming out of party, it's against the Tampa Bay fucking Bucks, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna take the Bucks, but don't be surprised if a lot of fucking haters get silenced tomorrow when Daniel Jones like throws for 300
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised either.
But, like,
He looked damn good in
and
preseason.
and wins the game.
Yeah.
Nah.
But I mean, Jameis is at home. Is Jameis at home?
He is.
I know.
Hey, what do you always say about Jameis at home?
know, he
What do you
plays
always say?
hero ball.
Say it. Say
He
it.
always plays hero ball, man. He always
Yeah.
plays like shit
All
at
right.
home.
So I'm just saying.
But it's also against the Giants defense, so it's kind of like balance. It's kind of like Thanos went in there. It was like,
Hey, man. Hey, Giants defensive unit could be like, we're hyped now. We have purpose. We finally got this monkey off our back. It could be a completely different looking team come Sunday. But anyway, let's move on.
Houston, LA Chargers. I've got the Chargers. John.
You said you picked the Chargers?
Yes.
They are at home, so I'm picking the Chargers.
I mean, it's an away game either way.
Well, you know what I mean.
Bronson.
Golly, boys. This is one of those games I would love to pick against you again in. Because I really genuinely believe the Chargers suck in the month of September. But goddamn. Yeah, I'm going to have to take the Chargers. But don't be surprised if like Houston shuts down the whole little Eckler fun train and DeAndre Hopkins just goes to town on them. And every week in that offense for Laramie Tunsil too is just another week for them to play better as a team. So
And
just
Kenny Stills as well, yeah.
But
so it's gonna be a good game, I think. Pittsburgh, San Francisco. Mason Rudolph's first start. I'm gonna go San Francisco. John.
Yeah, man. Mason Rudolph's first ever start. I know a lot of Steeler fans are kind of excited about this, which is kind of weird. But anyways, I like the
they're
49ers.
excited because they've seen Big Ben for like 100 years.
Yeah.
His name is literally after a clock.
Yeah, but I don't like Mason Rudolph having to go all the way over to San Francisco for his first start. So, and I like the way the 49ers are playing.
No, the 49ers are going to win this game. I take
Yeah.
the Niners.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. And New Orleans versus Seattle. New Orleans starting Teddy time and Taysom time. It's T-squared time for New Orleans. But I'm gonna take Seattle with the 12th man. John.
Yeah, I'll take Seattle.
Bronson.
Seattle.
All right. Just until we know what we're dealing with Teddy and Taysom, kind of two-timing it and kind of double penetrating defenses. So, DP baby. The Sunday night game, which is fucking. The Rams versus the Browns. LA Rams.
This honestly could be a very good game.
It could be, or it could be the worst game fucking possible.
I don't see it being that way. I see this being like a shootout, man. You're talking Odell and Jarvis Landry against fucking Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters. Like what? Like I'm waiting for like a full out offensive and defensive brawl from these teams.
Yeah.
I want to take bets on who's gonna fight first, Marcus and Jarvis or Odell and fucking Aqib, man.
It's easily Aqib because Aqib will rip off Odell's watch. That's what's gonna happen.
What time is it now, bitch?
Yeah, didn't Aqib? Wasn't he the one that was ripping people's chains?
Yeah, Michael.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he'll be ripping ripping Odell's watch. Yeah. That's the money I'm gonna take on. Can we go play some bets in Vegas real quick?
Yeah.
Make some money. As for this game, I'm gonna take the Rams. Why not? John?
Yeah, I had the Rams winning as well.
Bronson?
It'll be a very exciting game.
I fucking hate you guys.
I know we gave you the perfect opportunity.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I need to close in here. Rams are 2-0. Browns are 1-1. AFC North is always super close. No way teams get substantial leads in the division. Who's at home?
Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Chicago versus Washington.
Oh yeah, that's a game. I'm gonna be
Is it?
there.
I know. Bronson will be there live. Maybe live tweeting. Probably not. He never live tweets. He just kind of watches the game like a good sports fan. John, Chicago, Washington.
Oh, I guess you already picked the Bears.
Yeah, true.
Well, okay, but
Wait, Max, you didn't make a pick. You
Yeah.
fucking cuck.
Yeah, because it's Washington at home. So I'm
Yeah,
making the last
exactly.
pick.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to verify. That's all.
Forgot you had a team.
But anyways, I think the Bears are just going to terrorize the Redskins, and I mean I know it's still early, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is what at least gets everyone started talking a lot about, like, oh, Haskins has to start.
Yeah, think
I
this
know,
is the-
but you know
this
what's
is the
going to
game that
happen,
makes
man.
them- yeah, this is the game that. Wait, who the fuck's gonna pick last, Max? If my team's going too.
Home team gets the advantage.
Oh, you cuck! You just made that roll up on the fly. No, Bears are definitely going to terrorize the piss out of the Redskins. This is going to be the game that Jay's going to be like, so when's Dwayne playing? He's going to have to field all that nonsense. Yeah, it's just going to be ugly. Khalil Mack is going to terrorize y'all. He'll probably get 2 sacks. I think the offense is definitely going to come in swinging. It's going to look like a completely different it's going to be a completely different team, and you guys have absolutely nothing to game plan around outside of what Vic showed you on defense. But that was only to stop the run game, which is kind of crazy. So I think Nagy's going to have all sorts of there's going to be a trick play for a touchdown. That will happen. And I think Mitch is going to throw for like 290 and like a sexy 2 touchdowns.
I don't know about that. But I'm also taking.
When you haven't seen your quarterback throw any touchdowns, it's good to see a sexy 2.
Yeah, no. As you're well aware of with Sexy Rexy Grossman. So as both of our teams are both aware of Sexy Rexy Grossman. I'm also gonna take Chicago in this as well. Only for the fact that it's no Trent Williams. Defense has been playing terrible, especially Josh Norman hasn't looked good at all. And Landon Collins has been kind of quiet this year too.
Yeah,
So-
I know.
Forgot about that.
I know. A lot of people.
Yeah,
have,
he's
so.
making a lot of money to stand back there and do nothing. So
Yeah. So, they need to figure out what they could do to game plan and get him more involved. So, I've got Chicago in this. And Bronson will be there live, and I'm sure Garrett's going with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett's gonna
Oh my god, he's gonna explode.
He's gonna throw shit. He's gonna shit in a seat.
Yeah, I already told Garrett if
Science.
it's really bad, we'll leave early.
Yeah.
So just to beat the crowd, because I gotta drive his ass back home to Bethesda and then drive back to Baltimore.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do though? What's gonna happen though if by some
Bears
miracle, the Bears lose? Like that's your wedding week, and the Bears.
Garrett's. Oh my god, Garrett will not let that.
God, if the Bears lose during the week of my wedding, oof. Emma just gave me a command of "You'll be all right." Oh, wow. Oh, could be a rough 48 hours afterwards, at least.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll take out your aggressions on your wedding night. You'll be fine.
Fair point.
And with that joke and those everything, that about does it for this podcast. John, the recording master for this week, because Windows decides to be an asshole to my shit, pimp your shit out, yo.
That's right. I am the recording master. My name is John. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and now, yes, I can say Mixer, Max, because I am finally streaming now. So you can find me as Necromancer. That's a 3 and 7 E in the beginning. And yeah, catch me playing Gears 5, baby.
And Bronson, go ahead.
You can find me preparing to get married here in a week and 2 days, 1.5 days. You can also find me always cooking at Chef Man Bronson on the Instagrams and Bronsonius, Bronson IOUS on the Twitters. I am always on there, and I am always stalking bear news and video games and NFL stuff. So come at me if you want to talk some of those things. Anyway, that's going to be it for me.
All right. And for me, you can find me on the Instagram and on Twitter at OG Liquid Jesus, and you can find me on Twitch, occasionally streaming at Liquid Jesus 1. And with that, I bid you all adieu.
Goodbye.